Well, we made it to episode 2. That means we're officially like a real-life podcast now. Thanks for tuning in to Growler Garage. I'm alongside our second guest, Doug.
Hi, Doug.
How's it going, guys? Good evening.
Doug is our first beer guest, if you will. First episode, we had a car guest. Now we got a beer guest. Doug has got all kinds of crazy stories to tell us about beer, about his company, Pop Quiz Trivia. That's actually how I know him. I used to go to trivia all the time, and Doug...
Used to. Till Growler Garage dominated your time.
That's pretty much true. And also, they stopped doing this stuff as convenient to me, and I'm incredibly lazy, if nothing else. So we're going to get to Doug in a second. One thing that I do want to talk about a little bit first is anybody who watches the NASCAR race last weekend saw the wreck, obviously, at the end of it. I don't want to talk about the safety of the cars, the safety of whatever. That's been beaten to the ground already. What I'm seeing on the internet now is people that are actually getting on the fans that were hit in the head by like control arms and like pieces of the car and stuff, are calling them like pussies and like a bunch of wimps and like calling them like northerners
because they had a choice.
Right, because like the back of the ticket says that if you come here, you're assuming the risks. No, idiot. Like, you're assuming the risks of like you get drunk and you fall down the stairs and you break your nose. No, you don't get to sue the track for that. But if you take a goddamn crankshaft to the dome, chances are good I'm probably going to sue the people
At 180 miles an hour.
Right, exactly. I mean, thank God that everybody seems like they're mostly okay. The driver's all right. So I mean, it's just, can you believe that like people are getting on those people for wanting to get a lawyer? Like, they don't even know what like the terms are. They might just be trying to like, hey, cover my medical bills.
It's all about that get rich quick.
Oh, I'm sure. Exactly. Basically,
it's a new American dream.
They definitely took
absolutely.
like water to the track and put it on like, and did the whole slip and fall thing like at Walmart. Like,
Right.
oh, my hip is broken. Oh, I got a lifter in the eye. Same thing, basically. I just wanted to get that out. So I'm glad that we could do that. But Doug, you know a lot about beer.
I've been known to tilt a few pints.
You
in my
might
day.
be the biggest fan. A lot of people claim to be fans of beer. A lot of people these days, it's trendy, which is, I guess it's always been trendy to like beer, and we love beer here, of course.
The 10,000-year-old living beverage.
It's, what I understand, is the oldest recipe ever, like written on something.
That we found.
Yeah, so probably that we'll ever find.
It's a good bet.
But a lot of people are like, oh, I know everything about beer, but really they don't. They know that they drink a Bud Light and it's a little better than a Michelob, and that's about as much as they know.
The first dead giveaway someone knows nothing about beer is how much they claim to know about beer.
That's true about most things in life. Cars are the same way. Like, oh, I know everything about cars. Usually that's a person that doesn't know a damn thing about it. So you used to work for a brewery out in Huntington Beach, I believe, right?
Beach City Brewery.
Beach City Brewery. Now you're with... tell us about this a little bit.
It says Beer Paper LA. It's a 2-year-old publication that was founded by just a couple beer geeks who decided that the second largest beer market in the country needed to have a voice and something to tie everybody together. It is moving into new ownership, and we are going to be putting out our first issue in the month of August. So this is the June issue. We're skipping July to regroup and then coming out swinging with some new fun stuff.
Well, that's pretty freaking cool. You're going to be able to find these at most like breweries around and that kind of stuff. That's the place to find these?
They are distributed at over 200 restaurants, 48 breweries, 8 bottle shops, homebrew shops, anywhere that someone cares about good quality local beer.
Dang, so anywhere that I can get a beer, basically. It's sort of a 7-Eleven.
A decent beer, yeah.
That's the kicker then.
We're a bit picky about who carries the paper, even though it's free.
Snob, indeed. Yeah, no, that's super cool. Like, that's something I never knew I wanted until you walked in with that, and I'm like, I need that in my life.
It should be a part of your life.
So I'm gonna go like to the local breweries. I've been informed there's like 4 breweries, one of which is like the 26th best in the world or something. That's like a mile from my house. I didn't even know it was there.
The 8-year-old Belgian-inspired brewery.
What is that?
Well, they're called The Brewery, BRUERY. They do large format Belgian-style ales. They have their own proprietary yeast strain. They've got a new brewer coming on board, and they're even splitting off a new division called Teru, which will be their wild ales and farmhouse barrel aging project, alongside their typical, also Belgian-inspired but not wild yeast strain.
That's all real
segment.
That's all stuff that I didn't know existed. I mean, I don't claim to know a lot about beer. I drink what I like, and I just get what's convenient, as you guys now know. And I get my favorites, of course, and I like all that. And I know a lot of microbrews out there, I guess you could say, but I don't know. Like, what do you call it? A wild ale?
A wild ale means that wild yeast, or, well, back in the day it would be unpredictable yeast strains, were brought in to ferment the beer, because people don't make beer, yeast makes beer.
Okay.
So these wild yeast would be collected off of fruit or anything that would be floating around in the air to ferment the beer, which before we figured out, about microbiology, thanks to Louis Pasteur, God did all that for us. So then we finally gave credit to science and figured out that yeast is this hugely important aspect of beer. Before, you would control the yeast by using former batches of beer to put into that beer to make the fermentation occur. Or by accident, wild yeast would get in there. Some breweries are risky to let that product just happen and that nature will take its course. But more often than not, you're using very predictable methods to create a predictable product.
Wow. So there's literally breweries, it sounds like, that just kind of throw something and they don't know what it's really going to come out like until that's wild. I didn't know. I guess that's why they call it wild yeast.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you know that, Matt?
I did not. I know basically nothing about beer except that when I need to hydrate, I switch to beer.
You switch to Coors Light basically when you need to hydrate.
Pretty
right?
much, yes.
Yeah.
It's all about that water content.
Exactly, yeah.
So you guys have been asking me some questions. Now I've got a question for you as we talk about quality of beer. What's the best beer in the world?
Like to my favorite beer, or like what's the highest like quality?
The best beer in the world is the one that's in your hand.
Oh,
so no matter how you feel about beer or how snobby you're gonna get, it's the one that makes you happy, or the one someone else bought for you.
Hey, there you go. Speaking of that, the beer we're drinking today is from Bootleggers, just like last week. This one's called Eagle Tears. So I heard the name and I was like, I have to have that. Like
It's America.
Yeah, no, I mean I bought it like the day after 4th of July or something along those lines, and
I've heard it's made with real eagle tears.
Yeah, that and Freedom.
And I also heard that the eagles are free range.
They're
Free range eagles.
Yes.
Oh no,
God bless
Tyson
America.
Eagles here. No, I mean I'm one of those people for sure. Like now I know how most people feel like when they buy cars. They're like, oh, I like that name, or oh, that looks pretty. Oh, Eagle Tears. Give me that. Give me that beer. I definitely want Eagle Tears. Well, do you know what kind of... No, I don't know what kind of beer it is. Why do I care? Give me Eagle Tears. And luckily, it's pretty damn good.
That car has numbers, Z's, and X's in its name. I want it.
Give me that. This is the 300ZX of beer. I don't know how...
That's high praise.
It is. Not the 2+2 300ZX, but like
The
the
one that
twin
I had?
turbo... Wait, okay, let's rewind. What 300ZX did you have?
I'm gonna Eagle Tears if I talk about it.
Well, that's okay. This is an emotional show.
91, 30,000 miles on it. Twin turboed, T-top, burnt orange with a sparkle to it. Someone else wrecked it.
No.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Heartbreak.
It was sad.
Let's drink one.
But it was beautiful. I got to rip it around for the short time we were together. It was like that way too hot girl that is in your life briefly and then leaves you.
That's depressing. As his girlfriend looks over at him. Hopefully she'll be along.
She's way too hot for me too, but I don't think she's going to leave.
Hopefully not.
I drove here. I have her keys.
Oh, well, that's good.
I have her keys.
My dad worked for Nissan for a long time when I was a kid. So like when I was like in my formative like car becoming years, like when I was like 5.
Your car puberty?
Yeah, kind of, because car puberty comes before girl. That sounds weird to say girl puberty,
it's
but
the
you know what
same
I
thing.
mean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before
you're
actual.
barking up the right tree.
So like at like 5, I started probably before that, but 5 is when I really started appreciating cars. So my dad he worked for Nissan, so he didn't own a car. He always drove home a car from the dealership. So it would always be the 300ZX twin turbo whenever I got to pick. He actually hated those cars though.
Really?
Because he's like, they're so heavy. They don't turn in the corner. They have that 4-wheel steering. It's super unpredictable. And that's of course my dad going
I forgot
full.
they had 4-wheel steering.
Yeah, they had the rear wheels turned the opposite way. So the whole car would kind of move in like a yaw. It's super odd. And most of them don't work anymore on those cars. But my dad hated it because, of course, typical my dad, he's always just worried about, oh, does it turn in? Oh, okay. And you get on the throttle. Does it like want to drive out properly? So he was always a 240SX guy long before the drifting bullshit stuff. And I don't hate drifting. I just like to call it bullshit. But he was always a 240SX rather than a Frontier or whatever made sense. But I always dug the 300ZXs for no other reason other than on the dashboard it had those big ass fucking switch clusters that came out of them, and I just wanted to play with them all the time. It's just buttons everywhere. It's like, oh, left T-top unlock, right T-top unlock,
buttons and buttons and buttons.
buttons on buttons.
Yep.
But so you had the 300ZX.
Yep.
Now you drive. What was that out there? A Chevy? Of
No,
some
that's
sort?
a Fusion.
I didn't get a good look.
That's a 10 Fusion.
Cardinal sin. I'm sorry.
What's wrong with it? It's a Ford?
No, I like Fords. I just called a Ford a Chevy. I just saw the front fender, like that much of the front fender. I thought it was a Chevy Cruze.
You were very concerned with preparing and not viewing.
Oh, well, that's nice of you to say.
Plus, half of the front end's dented in.
Oh, that's my excuse. I saw the dented fender.
Yep.
That's
That
why
was
I
what
looked
it
like a
was.
Chevy.
Okay, so you have a Ford Fusion now. Did you get the Fusion right after the Z or something in
Oh,
between?
no, there's been many cars in between.
Oh, good.
Almost all Hondas.
Good Hondas?
Almost all. I mean, is there a bad Honda?
Yes.
Question mark.
Quite a few.
First car was an 89 Civic 4-door.
Okay, I'm in.
Sedan.
Lesson.
Followed by a 91 Accord 4-door.
Still out.
Both with more money in the stereo system than the car was worth.
I'm back in.
Of course.
Okay.
Because that's what you do in high school.
How big were the subs?
A 10 because
A single 10?
just 110, but it was in a bandpass box.
Is that good, Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
just
That's
better
real. That's real nice.
Matt
better.
used to really do the audio stuff. Like, we'll get back to that. Keep going.
Better sound in that one. Then that's when the Z came in the picture.
Yeah.
And I kind of let the Honda out to pasture and
Good.
then got back into it because there was no more Z tier. There was a 95 Odyssey somewhere in the mix.
That's odd.
You
That's-
can do things in Odysseys that you will not raise suspicions with because it's a soccer mom car.
Like sit in front of schools,
Like traffic
or-
violations. I get it. Okay.
Traffic violations, yes. What else has been? I had a Ranger, a little truck
Okay.
for a minute
With ya?
with a stick. That was nice.
Yeah.
My only truck in the mix. What else? They got the Fusion now. I bought an 89 Lexus that had like 100 and bajillion miles
That's
on
like
it.
OG Lexus.
It
Like, I
was-
think they came out in like 89.
It would like I could
That
have
brand.
sold crack and wrapped in that car, and it would have been completely okay.
Yeah,
There probably
of course.
was crack in that car.
Yeah, I should have stripped it.
There's
It would have been worth way more money.
so like on the audio thing, like I asked you, like I don't know like jack shit about audios. Like when Bluetooth first came out, I was like, yeah. Before that, it was like auxiliary input. I can plug my phone or my iPod into this. Yeah.
No more CDs, no more skipping.
Right. So,
Yeah, buddy.
so like Matt used to install some stuff for me back in the day. I used to have this 84 Dodge van that we put two 12-inch subs in the back of that they were in something else before I had the van. I don't recall what now, but it was not a van. It was like a car. It was like a sedan. Mm-hmm. I don't remember.
They weren't in your truck, were they?
No, they weren't in my truck. I don't remember what I had them in. Whatever. They were in this Dodge van. But this van was like had like the fold down couch in the back that goes into a bed, the shag carpet, the wood sides, curtains.
So it was perfect.
Oh yeah, had a TV in it that folds down.
Yeah,
Like,
it was an
flat screen.
amazing vehicle.
It was good. I one time, I think I told this last podcast. I don't care. 'Cause I love telling a story. Is we were going trash canning.
You did not tell this story.
Oh, okay. Well, then we'll tell it now.
Can I ask what trash canning is?
Yes, you may.
I kind of assume I
So
know.
there's two different ways to go trash canning. First, what it was you'd drive your car, you'd see a trash can, and you'd fucking hit it.
Okay. I
and
was
that's-
way off.
So, well, the other one's a little better. This was us just getting started when I was like 16. So there's this trash can, and I'm in a Dodge van. So I'm just like, whatever, I'm gonna blast it. So my van goes up and sits on top of it, high centers on this trash can that is still standing straight up, wheels down. It's sitting on top of this 5,000-pound van. It's sitting on top of this trash can. I'm like, what? So reverse drive, steering wheel, nothing's touched the ground. So we're like, we have like 8 people in it. So we're trying to rock it back and forth, either trying to get it to brake or just trying to get it to like the tires touch the ground so we can do something.
Before the police arrived.
Before the police arrive, there's a horse going crazy next to us for some reason.
Wait, was this an Amish country? What is
It's in Orange Park Acres,
Oh, close
allegedly.
enough. Is the statute of limitations over on this? Because
Yeah.
identities and
What,
areas.
this was 11 years ago, so it probably
No,
was,
I
right?
think you're safe.
Okay, good. So anyway, long story short, the shift arm it's an automatic. It falls off as I'm kind of rolling through the gears, and I'm like, uh-oh. So I briefly consider getting underneath it and putting it into gear, and then hopping out, hoping the trash can is still holding it, and get back in.
That was certain death.
So I decided not to do that. Luckily, beer hadn't become a thing yet at 16-year-old me. And of course, I wouldn't have been driving, because that's one thing about this show is the two best things in the world are cars and beer, but never together.
That's right.
That's our motto.
It's a good one. I can get behind that.
Yeah. So even if I were old enough, wouldn't have been any beer in the van. So long story short, I jammed my finger into where the shift arm was. Thankfully, it fit, and I got it down in a drive. And I told everybody, I'm like, all right, run to the front and jump. So they run to the front and they jump, and the trash can like explodes down on the ground, and we just drive away. And I'm like, okay. Turns out what happened is the trash can had like a bunch of like ceramic in it. So it wasn't, the trash can was gone basically. We were sitting on like a perfectly stacked pile of ceramic.
Like they meticulously stacked everything in the trash
like
can.
it was just like it had to have like zero gap in between the ceramic. That was the first kind of trash can. The second time is where the passenger hangs out of the window and holds onto it with the wheels.
That's the one
down.
I remember
That's the
fondly.
good one. That's where we got
Yes.
clever. And then you drag it. You go as fast as you can and see how strong that passenger is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm picturing like a lacrosse game where he has to scoop a ball and then you've got to drive to a goal. We might have to invent some things.
Remember our friend who will remain nameless? That wrecked a BMW with a trash can.
Oh no.
Not really.
You don't?
I might have wiped that from my memory.
I
don't
think
remember.
we were in...
Probably Thunderbird, let's be honest.
No, it was the GTO.
Oh, good.
Yes.
So it wasn't even my car.
No. But someone was hanging out of the window with a trash can. We were going through a neighborhood, and we hit a corner a little too fast, and the trash can slipped out of the hand, and bam, right into the back of a BMW, like a 7 Series BMW.
Yeah, I mean,
They could afford it.
they probably had insurance, one. And two, one thing I like, these stories is like, we meant to cause mischief. We pretty much never meant to cause like physical harm. A couple times it ended that way, but it wasn't intentional. It was always just a mischievous, like, haha, we're taking their trash can. Oh.
Remember the one time we sent it across a street and
Yeah.
it hit a driveway?
So we were going down a hill, and and I jam on the brakes, and the person lets go of it. And the bottom of this thing is filled with like cinder blocks.
Something. It was
Something
pretty heavy.
and
Yeah.
the top is all like paper. So it hits the pedestrian, like the wheelchair entry, and it launches in the air and like goes behind their backyard, and we see it explode.
No, it just hit the cinder block wall.
Oh, right. It hit the cinder block
And
wall
just
and
went
just blows up.
Boo!
And just shit everywhere. Anyways, we're getting off topic.
Speaking of off topic, I don't know the rules here, so I'm just gonna do this.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, no, we're not in
the
Korea.
The rules about beers.
Well, not that. Don't think out of that.
The rules about the beers. There are no rules.
Well, we're in a garage, not a barn, but we're not in Korea. I went to Korea, and they if you poured your own beer, they got mad at you. But
Yeah.
then they got mad at themselves for not pouring you more beer.
It's an interesting culture that I completely agree with.
Yes.
It's a great way to have the ability to get drunk and blame it on someone else.
Yeah, dude, your glass should never be empty. Have you been to the Asias?
I have been to the China.
Oh, okay.
The
Fairly
China?
similar.
I did Beijing in January of 15 this year,
Okay.
and hit some brew pubs there actually.
How was that? How did that compare? It's different.
I don't even know where to begin to answer that. Are we talking about just beer?
Well, do they brew beer there?
Do the
They-
Chinese? Yeah. Do the Chinese brew their own beer there?
There is quite a bit of Chinese beer. With every meal, you will get a bottle of Chang beer. Not Chang beer.
Is that a brand?
Is it Chang?
Is Chang a brand or is that?
Chang is a brand. There are 3 different rice lagers that are made in China.
Of course, it's rice. That was my next question.
Well,
is
American
it
beer is
rice?
made with rice too.
Indeed, adjunct American lagers. The typical meal, you will get water, beer, and some kind of soda, all warm because none of the rest of the world believes in refrigeration of beverages. So
Can I interject that warm beer is like the worst thing on the planet?
Some people like it, and they're wrong.
We can debate
They
about
are.
that after. But when we're talking about rice lager, yeah, not great. The saving grace was it was January in Beijing, which is
Okay.
parallel similar to like Seattle. So it was not warm.
Okay.
About 45 degrees the whole time.
So at least there's
Fahrenheit.
that.
So yeah, we had that
Strong.
that little bit, but it's also 45-degree weather when you don't want to be drinking almost cold lager.
Right.
Not the best beer for the situation.
Almost cold.
lager.
So yes, the short answer is yes. The Chinese brew their own beer. There is a weird statute which makes more sense the more you think about it. That all domestic bottled beer must be pasteurized, which you will find our macro beers in America do the same thing, whereas craft doesn't. Beer is alive in this class because it should be. So their beer is very just
No, I didn't
long
know
shelf
that.
life.
So when they
and-
talk about like the cold filtered Coors and all that, like I know that that's
Cold
probably a
filtered.
bunch of bullshit, but like the microbrews don't have to do that.
It's not about having to. It's a shelf life question.
Oh,
So you
I
want
see.
your beer if you have a national company, you want your product to taste the same across the board everywhere for as long as possible on that shelf life, so that your beer that you just picked up in Boulder, Colorado, straight from the brewery, tastes the same as a beer that's been sitting on a shelf in Utah for 6 months because no one drinks beer
Well,
in
it
Utah.
won't taste the same as Utah, right? Because isn't their beer different?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
a bad example.
less
Technicality.
Less alcohol.
Yeah.
You get a point there, though.
Yeah. I know a couple things about a couple things, but very little about most things.
You know,
But I did-
a thing or two about a thing or two.
Yeah.
I did get to pop into 3 different breweries, brew pubs in China that were all usually expat run, so Aussies or Americans who went to China and maybe fell in love with a girl and decided this is what they want to do. But imagine opening a brewery in China.
No.
Like just the regulations and the payoffs and
I mean, it's not on my list.
no,
of
I
things to
can't
do.
imagine it would be fun or easy. So I give them tons of respect for that. The problem is we live in beer mecca. The best beer in the world is produced within 100 miles of where we're sitting right now. That's a fact. That's not my opinion.
Really?
It's my opinion, but it's a fact.
But it's an
So,
expert opinion. so-
Comparing, You can say expert. That's flattery. You can compare their beer to our beer, and it's just not fun. But yeah, it was awesome to see. The cool thing about craft beer is passion and people, and that's, the beer is always the second or third part of that conversation.
Did China have a fascination with American culture over there? I know because China's kind of hidden from us, not as much as North Korea, of course, but like South Korea, it was obsessed with American pop culture.
Yes. Okay. So not the culture so much as actual white people.
Oh,
Caucasians.
Okay. I can relate.
All right. So off a plane to a hotel, like 5-star hotel, great hotel, all this. The first thing we do is get on a bus and go to Tiananmen Square, like the giant. It holds a million people. You're walking around there, and it's, like I said, 40 degrees, so it's cold, and there's a giant portrait of Mao, and you've got the Forbidden City right there, and everybody is trying to sell you something because, it's communist, but there's a lot of capitalism going on there, so good for them.
Oh, funny how that works.
The people, so Beijing is the political center of the country, and this is a country of 2 billion people, so there are people vacationing to go check out, just like we would go to Washington DC to go check out their political capital.
Right.
A group of 15 white people standing around was almost as exciting as a giant portrait of Mao to them. And they would very slyly walk up next to us and stand very stiff and have a friend take a picture, or just blatantly come up and be like, communicating in like, may I take your picture with you, and then like total arm around you, like peace sign, of course.
Wow.
And take a picture with white people. And it was the entire trip. I was pounced upon by like a 7 or 8 year old girl on the Great Wall of China who was like tugging at my pants, like, can we take a picture? Can we take a picture? No, the good kind, not the bad kind.
Whoa.
That got dark quick.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much.
Like, I made her day taking her photo, and I was really proud of myself until I found out everybody on the tour bus took the picture with her, which I was kind of like not as special, but it was still really cool.
Now she has a collection of honky photos.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's good. Yeah, when I was in Korea, I witnessed kind of the same thing. I was there by myself. I had some Korean counterparts that the company was at the time, but I didn't know them, and they spoke very little English, so I was very much on my own. They dropped me off somewhere, and they'd be like, we'll be back in a couple hours. Okay. So I would be walking around these, like, I usually ended up at, like, flea markets, because I was just going to buy shit for cheap.
Yeah.
So there's one time where I'm walking around, and I'm on this at this flea market, and literally everybody's, like, up to my nose. And I'm not a tall dude. I'm like 6 foot when I have my heels on. So like,
and your matching purse.
Yeah, my purse, It
was business.
So I'm looking over everybody, and I'm like, this is a weird sensation. And and these South Korean girls keep coming up and like giggling and like kind of what you said, take a picture. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then I see there's this group of white people that walk by, and I'm like, oh dang, what? That's weird, because I haven't seen. This is sounding really racist.
No,
it's really
being
not.
a minority is crazy.
Yeah, like
but
it really
it's
is
nice to be white and be a minority because we're pretty spoiled.
Well, I see like this group.
Well, technically, we are a minority here now.
Only in
technically,
only in Southern California here.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
try it in China.
Yeah, it's different.
It's way fun
when you can't communicate with anybody for the most part. But
in Chinese, like, and Korean too, like. You go to France, you go to Spain, you go to any of these Spanish-speaking or French-speaking countries, Italian, you can kind of make out what it says.
Yeah.
But you are looking at characters and symbols.
Yeah,
and
you're looking at everything's a hashtag.
Nope.
It's all hashtags. So
Yeah,
I'm like, it's hashtag.
I don't know where the bathroom is. I have no idea.
Pound sign. That's for our older listeners. We used to call it a pound sign.
Like pound?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, don't leave me hanging. Yeah. Thank you.
But yeah, I see this group of white people walking by, and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to go say hi. Like, I'm not the type to go say hi to people randomly, but I'm like, I haven't spoken English properly with anybody in a long time. And I'm like, hey, maybe they're from the Netherlands. Maybe they don't speak English. Do they speak English in the Netherlands?
It's like a bilingual.
It's broken.
Thing.
Okay. But I'm like, maybe they do.
Most of those countries are both.
Okay. So I go running up, and I'm like, hey, how's it going? It turns out it's a group of girls. I'm like, they're there on like a college trip. And I was
Coincidence.
Like, right. I know. Kaylee doesn't know the story yet, so she's going to probably flip when she hears this. But
yep.
But yeah. So I'm like, oh, do you speak English? And like, I'm like super like insulting. I'm like, English? And they're like, yeah. Yeah, we do. And I'm like, oh, shit.
Me barely, no.
They're like, yeah, weirdo.
Exactly. And they're laughing. I'm like, I'm from California. Like, oh, we're from Canada. I'm like,
so you don't really speak English.
Right. Yeah, I'm like, Montreal or Quebec?
Canadian.
Right. Long story short, I had lunch, and then I was like, oh, I'm so happy to speak with people that that speak English. That's my story. But now I know how they feel. You know, people here, fresh off.
I feel like we missed a lot there.
I feel like
No, that's literally it. I had a quesadilla.
Girls and
Believe me, I wish there were more to it.
oh.
Believe me. I had a quesadilla and a height.
How was a quesadilla in Korea?
Surprisingly good.
Was there kimchi in it?
No, but there was cat.
There's probably cat. No, it's just a cheese quesadilla. It's probably cat cheese.
Okay.
Just like when I went to Mexico, the
milk cat.
They
Have
probably
you heard
can.
about the dog festival in China?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I don't know if we need the.
We
We don't got to bring it down to that one. Why you got to do that?
Yeah, I don't
Why
know.
we got to do that?
It popped into my head.
We
It seemed
took a
like
dark turn again.
This is bad. When I went to Mexico, the best hot dog I ever had in my life was in Mexico.
Best hot dog?
Yeah.
Really?
Real life. Like the burritos were fine. The fajitas fine.
Downtown Santa Ana, same thing.
Maybe. I
Good hot
had
dogs.
this hot dog, just like I hung my head out the window of a car when we're like on our way in. We get past the border and I'm like, oh dude, Ramon, stop for a hot dog. And he's like, what? So I hang out, I'm like, hot dog, I hand him $1, and the dude's like, yeah, gives me a hot dog and runs away.
Are we talking like bacon wrapped?
No, it's hot dog.
Just dog,
Hot dog.
bun,
Yep, real
mustard,
life.
ketchup?
Just ketchup.
Just ketchup?
Delicious.
it's all found meat.
It was probably just a pan they hadn't cleaned in ever.
That's how New Orleans does it. That's called flavor.
Nolans.
Yeah. You a New Orleans fan?
Best city in America, hands down.
Really? Because I know you're from the Northeast.
I'm from Philly.
I was
Outside.
about to say Boston. You
The
probably would have
burbs.
hit me.
And they win championships. We don't.
Oh.
But yeah, the burbs of Philly, the best city in the country is hands down New Orleans.
Really?
Yes.
I have
food,
I have
culture,
driven
music.
through New Orleans.
Oh, that counts.
I drove cross country. My mom lives in Jacksonville, and my grandma gave me a car, so I drove it home. And I'm like, well, I'm driving all the way. Let's do a detour and go to like Bourbon Street and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it was basically a hurricane during the time, so no one was out. It was super crazy rainy, so I didn't really get to go out and walk around and do any kind of cool stuff.
You
But
missed the jazz and the boobs.
I did.
Not the blues.
Yep. I got a shot glass though.
There
Oh,
we
that's
go.
cool.
Yep.
Where's that car now?
Totaled.
Oh.
Yeah, I got squashed on the freeway.
Was it a nice car?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was a good car. Don't get me wrong. It was a good car.
It was a
was a
99.
point A,
It was a
point B.
99 Corolla with 40,000 miles on it.
I've
Hey,
driven
oh,
one of
I didn't know it
those.
was that low.
Yeah, that's why.
strong.
You know what? That's really the reason why I took it all the way back, because it had no miles on it,
Yeah.
so it would have served
Car's been
forever.
cross country twice, so didn't they drive it there and then you drove it back? Mm-hmm. That's something.
Yep.
Well,
It was a good little car.
drink a beer for the dead car.
Yep.
until I got in
do
a
that.
5-car pileup on the 405.
We're at 2 beers. We're at 2 cars dead already. This podcast has been going, what, for 30 minutes or so? This is a bad ratio.
I could tell the Honda story and be at 3 cars.
Tell us Honda story.
All right, so my wife's old car, 99 Honda Civic, right before we bought the NASCAR Toyota.
It's a Camry. That's what makes it NASCAR.
Yeah, because, Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're driving on the toll road to go take actually maternity pictures with my wife, and the motor literally exploded.
I haven't heard this story.
It sounded like I was literally driving around a blender full of rocks.
So of all the cars you've owned, all the hoopty, you've had almost as many hoopties as I've had.
Not even close to as many.
Well, compared to most people.
True.
Well, if you compare like people in general, you've had a lot of hoopties.
Yes.
What is the per car per year average for a male in America?
Oh God, it's got to
We gotta
nowadays.
find-
It's probably got to be like 2008.
No, I mean like how many cars does an average man
like the
go
year.
through?
Oh God.
'Cause I'm on like 8 or 9, which I feel is bad.
What was I at the? I think I'm on 23.
Something like that.
Yeah, well,
It was
I'm an
between-
exception. I'm an exception.
was between-
Yours is higher than most people.
I've been sitting here pondering how we're a gentleman of tact, and we have committed ourselves to one lady in our lives
right.
for longer periods of time, but we burn through cars.
Right. It's one or the other. Right.
It's better for the venereal disease aspect for sure,
Yeah, it's better for
and the self-respect usually, depending on what the cars are.
Yeah, I mean, fair. And I make money on most of the cars I sell. Not all, but
I make money on the women. I mean,
Whoa.
never mind. Okay, never mind.
been paying easy, man.
Yeah, well,
Well, it's funny you say that though, because I have had a few cars, but
That's the one that grenaded.
my truck.
You've had your truck for fucking ever.
Yep.
That's still your first car.
Yes,
At this point, you can't get rid of it. You got to give it to Liam.
I know.
stage 5 clinger.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, we got to fix the headliner that's full of beans and monster.
It's gonna need a new motor fairly soonish. It's got 130,000 miles on
Can we
it.
put a Hemi in that thing?
Oh yeah. I'm gonna put a 5.9 in it.
I don't think it's going to be as simple as you hope. We'll talk about it.
It's literally the same car.
Well, I know that, but
That sounds like a whole episode.
It's literally a drop-in.
well, sorta. Not exactly, because there's more to it on a new car like that. Because A, there's a smog problem, so you have to get a smog certificate, even though it's the same fucking truck. And
Sounds like you're moving to Arizona. You got to keep this truck in your life.
we got. If we're gonna put any in, let's just put a Hemi in it.
All right.
My
Might
dad
as
bought a
well.
Hemi Ram. It's fun. It'd be
Nice.
way fun in that.
It would just sit and smoke.
It's a Dakota. If
I know
those of
people
you
like
don't
that.
know. Sit and smoke. Yeah, that's the life.
yeah.
That's the life.
Kind of like the garage burnout.
Oh God. So 4th of July, I had a rager here at the Growler Garage Studios.
Guess my invitation was lost in the mail.
I sent you an invitation on Facebook. You did.
Literally, the entire internet
job.
was invited.
Literally it was. It's a rager, right? We're having a good time. We're getting drunk off Coors Light because, like I said, best beer is the one in your hands.
America.
People were bringing Coors Light, and we went, all right.
Well, I mean, we needed to hydrate.
People
so-
bringing beer to a party at all, like you're winning there.
Oh yeah, and then we ended up with a lot of beer, like a lot.
like a lot.
We ended up with like 17 gallons of like hard liquor. I'm not exaggerating. I'm literally not exaggerating.
It's a start.
And there was probably 40 of us here. So, I mean, we didn't finish all that, but regardless. So, it's getting a little bit later in the day. We start wrestling in the pool. And by wrestling, I mean literally jumping off ladders, hitting people with steel chairs, German suplexes, just the whole nine. And I found that stops because people are starting to get like a little bit hurt and like
Injuries.
and stuff. So I'm like, oh, what's next?
Well,
And
that and you guys were like literally losing consciousness for periods of time.
that's called
that's
selling.
always, that's good near a pool.
That's it's true.
Yeah.
It's
No,
called
but
selling.
I don't think it was selling at that point. Like
I'm good.
literally, both of you would pass out
I think I was selling it that well. I think that's how good I am.
at the same time, and then come to and be like, "Oh yeah, that's right, we're wrestling."
Dropped one on that stack of dimes he calls a neck. So, anyways, long story short, it's already been a long story. I'll make it shorter. We get
Short
bored,
story long.
and I look up out of the pool in one of those moments of consciousness, and Matt points at our buddy that we've both known since like first grade, and he's like, "Hey, look who's here!" And I'm like, "Oh, hey!" And it's not like I haven't seen him in years. I see him like a couple months ago, and I'm like, "Hey, you want to see?" And like, I don't remember how it got brought up because I was a little drunk. So they're like, somehow or another, I'm like, I'm gonna do a burnout, and there's like no threat of me driving on the street.
That was literally how it started.
Okay, cool.
You
That's good to
said,
know.
"I'm going to do a burnout."
And just so everybody listening knows, there was a bunch of shit behind my car. There was no possible way I was going in the street. There was
There
no
was a possibility that you
Go
were
to
going
the
to
front of the
drive
garage.
This
through.
is the safest way to act irresponsibly.
right. Yeah. So there wasn't this. It was fine. So I get in the car, and it's right where it's sitting now, which is just off camera. Right there is this car, 75 Chrysler Cordoba.
You'll see it in the intro.
Okay, yeah, they've already seen it then. So I call it the Coke Runner Cordoba.
The businessman's muscle car, as
Yeah.
I like to refer to it.
So I get into it, and there's been water all over the ground because the swimming pool was right behind it. So there's water all over it, and I just get in and just lay into the throttle, just hard, just right where it sits, and just. I didn't think I was doing that huge of a burnout. I look down at the speedo, and I'm sitting still, and it's pegged at more than 140.
There was like more smoke than a burnout contest. Like it was an impressive amount of smoke.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts. Like my speedo goes to 140, it's past it. So I'm car sitting still, my tires are spinning 140 miles an hour. So third gear, 6,000 RPM. Like I'm like, oh whoa, that got there in a hurry.
And it was fairly instantaneous too.
Yeah, it just hit it. It's just water on concrete, garage floor. Anyways, it was a weird mix when I got out of the car of people like that was the coolest thing ever, and people were like, "You owe me a beer." There was rubber all over my beer.
But it's like we bought you the
Yeah,
beer,
like,
so
the beer's free,
just
so get over it, Nancy.
Go get another one.
The beer pong table's covered. Everybody just scatters. There's this great picture where it looks like the end of the world is happening. There's just people like stumbling.
Oh yeah, it felt like a war zone. I'm trying to like find my way out to my infant child that's sitting in the stroller on the lawn. Like, oh my god, I have to get you out of the smoke. Like,
That's good for him.
Next thing I know, I get a fist in the face from my wife. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" She was like, "Baby here." I'm like,
Never swear.
it was the baby's idea.
the baby told me to do
The baby told me to do it. That's real life.
It's what not to do.
So
It's a teaching moment.
I think that's the last party we're gonna have here of that nature.
Ever.
I think we're gonna have little ones.
Okay.
I don't think we'll have a rager again.
it. Yeah, I don't blame you.
Can we have a rager at your house?
No more whole internet.
No.
Or whole internet. People came that I haven't seen since middle school. I don't know how they got my address. People came from like Rialto.
They follow their noses to the smoke.
I shit you not. Somebody came here from Fresno
That's quite a party.
to come to my party for 3 hours. I was teary eyed. I was like, that's
That's pretty
It's a
awesome.
compliment.
yeah. I was pretty happy about it. So that was good.
Good times.
Yeah. So
I just remembered the Mazda 626 that my dad and I drove across the country
you had a Mazda 626
on 3 cylinders through the Rockies.
That's amazing.
It made it.
That's amazing. Like, first off, I love Mazda 626s.
It was the very generic roundish one.
Is that the ones with 2-door in the hatchback, or am I thinking of the 323?
That was a 323.
Okay.
It was.
I love those
It
more.
was they were cool looking, and then they got really ugly looking. This was the ugly looking. I'm gonna say like 98, 96.
To be fair, I probably like it more when it's ugly.
It was
I
very
like ugly cars.
I feel like it was like right when Ford came into the picture, but I don't know when that happened.
So like you said, like a night. Oh, so is it like that one?
That guy. Oh, and it was white.
Well, let's go with that one.
Yep, looked just like that. 3 cylinders through the Rockies, which we didn't know until we got back. Are we going up on the big board?
We're trying. It's not working right now.
Oh.
I've made it worse.
There are pictures of it when
Much worse.
Yeah. Anyways,
I decided to pull
Far,
out
far
early.
worse.
Oh,
There it is.
zing! In front of a truck, and it took the front end of it off.
Oh, we know your password.
knows that. I gotta change it. Oh, this is going downhill quickly.
To be fair, it started down there.
Yeah, I mean, it started low. I think it went higher,
We built it up.
and we've gotten into the depths of just badness. I'll work on my skills here
We'll
later
get there.
on. All right, so we got a segment that we do on every episode. It's trivia. So we call it 0 to 60.
All right.
It is now the pop quiz trivia 0 to 60
Who are
challenge.
those guys?
That's you guys.
Oh, that's right,
That's you guys. Yeah.
Go ahead and insert your plug if you want to.
Oh, who are we?
Yeah, tell us about it.
So, a substitute teacher and bartender used to play a bunch of Jeopardy over a 6-pack of beer, 12-pack. And if you want the rules to Drink Jeopardy, I'm sure we can get them up on the Growler Garage website.
Please, let's do that.
Because Drink Jeopardy is always a good time. We would also call it Geo Party.
Geo Party.
Oh, really? Hold on.
I don't. Do you need some more over there, producer Matt?
Wow,
Can you-
that's a suffering glass.
Yeah, can you
Just huck it.
wiggle
Just
the-
football chuck
the
it.
connector
Wiggle the connector.
on your microphone?
Yeah.
So, the substitute teacher and bartender decided that Orange County's nightlife was missing some education. This is back right after the economy collapsed and the people were stopping to get the bottle service, but were still not going out. So we put together this little pub trivia company that goes around to bars on slower nights, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, and entertains the masses, gives them a reason to drink on a weeknight while maybe learning something or showing off how smart they are.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like I said, I did it for the better part of every week for like 2 years, and we still try to go when we can. It's just we've moved since then, and
We're looking for a Fullerton spot to get you to come out again.
perfect.
I
They
don't
had
care
one
about the
briefly.
bar. I just care about getting you and your crew
Can
out.
we do it here in the garage, in the Growler Garage Studios?
It would be like you guys versus each other.
Might be fun.
It's kind of incestuous.
Whoa.
Say no more.
All right then.
We're in.
So,
Well.
All right,
so we got this trivia.
not that owning a trivia company makes me smarter. Disclaimer.
Yeah, I'm expecting you to beat our high score of currently 1.
Yeah.
It's,
It shouldn't be too hard. I mean,
No, I just don't build this up too
So
much.
here's how the rules work.
There are rules.
Sort of. In
Okay.
60 seconds.
Can I get my phone out?
No.
Ah,
No shouting out the answers unless it's you.
using my own
no
tricks
phone.
against me.
Yes. So it's 60 seconds.
60.
It's 10 questions.
10.
If you skip, you just move on to the next one, but you don't get to go back to it.
Oh, so I can't pass to retry.
No, you're
No.
just.
Okay.
It's
So
a matter of
either
don't
I know
waste,
it or I don't.
Yeah, don't waste too much time on. If you don't
Okay.
know it, just pass it or just take a shot
All
in the
right.
dark.
Hold on.
Are you ready?
Not even close.
Pop quiz trivia.
All right, here we go.
0 to 60 challenge.
All right.
1 minute on the board. Current high score is 1.
1.
All right, here we go. Who won this year's Indy 500?
Nope.
Which?
Hold on. Can I just say Andretti? Just because Andretti.
No,
Andretti.
It almost worked. Which American president was elected in 1932 due to their promise to end prohibition?
That has FDR.
Yes. What is the largest brewery in the United States?
There's no pause. I'm going to say Anheuser-Busch, but
Yes.
this is okay.
What is the oldest brewery in North America?
Oh, it used to be Molson, but Coors bought them.
I got to double check that I have Molson. I got to double check.
Yeah, it's Molson.
Okay, so
Okay,
Coors
we'll
bought.
get- we'll
Okay.
get-
Coors owns Molson now.
How much horsepower was a 426 Hemi rated at?
426 is the cubic inches, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to say like 525.
Close. 425.
Oh,
What is
1 power. Okay.
this is a fear. What are you afraid of if you have cynosillophobia?
Japanese cars?
No. Empty glass.
Oh.
How-
Well, Sino is China. Was that a minute?
That was a minute already.
Oh, I didn't even get through enough.
I know.
You
got
are.
You are the new.
I got more than
You are
two.
the new
I got
high
three.
score, sir.
You got 3, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Well, can we do the rest of the questions off the clock, or do you want to save them for the next guest?
No, fuck that. There's that again.
How many did we get through?
Forgot.
6, 7?
I didn't.
Who won the
keep count.
500?
1 Montoya.
Oh, that's a racing family too, isn't it?
Just him.
Only child.
Well, and
What do
his
you do?
son is probably going to be good.
Okay.
Old Sebastian.
How does that work?
So the next question was, we got all the time in the world for these. Did we get through this one? How many years of Prohibition last?
13?
Yeah.
Impressive.
Who is the
I
winningest?
live in booze.
Who's the winningest active NASCAR driver?
Winningest active. Points or races won?
Races won.
Can I say Jeff Gordon and be
Yes,
right?
you can. You would.
Oh.
That would have been my guess.
What
I didn't know if
car?
he still drives.
What car is often falsely credited with being the first muscle car?
The Corvette?
No, the Pontiac GTO.
Oh, yeah.
People love to call it that. People are going to send me hate mail saying it's not, but it ain't. And I'll go on a rant another time about that.
Well, what's the first muscle car then?
There isn't one. It was a process.
Okay.
So the cars kept getting a little bit more horsepower, a little bit more. They kept putting engines in smaller cars and smaller cars and smaller cars. I guess technically the GTO could be the first people to really market it that way, but that's a bunch of bullshit. Dodge had a Red Ram Hemi, and it was still faster than the GTO 6 years later.
I said Corvette because of the false part.
Well, right. Yeah,
Okay.
some people probably call it that.
It's
Because
not
it's a
a
sports
muscle
car,
car, though.
It's a sports car.
Right.
Just like a Mustang's not a sports car, or a muscle car's a pony car.
Yeah,
More hate mail.
that's true.
Camaro, also not muscle
That's a
car.
pony car.
Pony car. Hate mail. Which country has the most different brands of beer?
Most different brands?
Yeah, so like makes of beer, if you will.
I'm going to say Belgium.
Yeah. Damn, I wish we could have gotten through those faster. That's the point, though.
I'm taking too long. It's
yeah,
my
it's gotta
fault. It's
hammer
not
through.
yours.
But you got
Did you
got-
start the clock before you asked the question or after?
after.
Oh, see, Ben Stein's Money pioneered that.
Okay.
You start the clock after the last syllable of the first question.
Okay. I started as I started reading. It was like who won click.
I mean, you've got a lot to do, so
Yeah,
get
I
it.
do.
But he had a whole production staff.
That's-
Not that you've got a producer or anything.
Yeah, I know, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So you got Prohibition, you got Anheuser-Busch, you got Molson, and yeah, so it's 3.
I got FDR.
New leader. Yeah.
I got FDR.
Yeah, Prohibition. That's what I said.
No. Oh, yeah.
See?
Well, there was 2 prohibition questions there. One was
Oh,
off
right.
the clock.
Fair. Yeah.
One
That's
was off the clock.
fair point. So 3. New
3.
leader.
Set the bar.
So you're at the top of the board.
I doubled.
Tripled.
Tripled.
3
Double
I don't
and
do
a
math.
half.
There was no math questions.
3 for Dale. So
Dale 3 ever. God bless America.
what are your thoughts on Dale Earnhardt?
The real one?
Is there a fake Dale Earnhart?
Yeah, his son.
Is that
Oh.
like fake Elvis?
I know there's a band. There's a fake Dale Earnhardt Jr. called Dale Earnhardt Jr. Jr.
Yeah, that's a good band name. My longtime roommate had the displeasure of picking up. So the town that I'm from is the home of QVC, and my. Oh, I know it's a distinction.
Please tell me this is turning into a Jeff Bodine story.
I don't know what that means.
Okay, no.
But my former roommate was a limo driver and had the displeasure of picking up Mr. Jr. at the airport and driving him to our town.
The
And
band Junior Jr. I'm confused.
no,
now.
the actual.
Oh, it's the actual Dale Jr. I thought he's a nice
is
guy.
he number 6?
No,
I don't know
he was
number
8 at
is.
the time. Now he's
Okay.
88.
Okay, so he
He's supposed to be nice.
he was not the nicest
No,
according to reports.
I refuse to believe that.
Okay, you're.
I
you're
reject that completely.
More than okay to have your own opinion.
I completely reject that.
To be fair, the former roommate is a bit of a dick.
There it is.
Oh, yeah. Well,
So
that'll do it.
It's a balance.
Former
Yeah.
roommate. There's Dick. Yeah. So,
He would embrace that title.
speaking of band names, bad band names or good ones. In your time at Trivia, you've had a lot of clever team names, and
So
they could
many.
also be used as band names. Are there?
so many?
And don't pander to me here. I don't want to hear my own come up here, although I'm very good at it. I want to know.
You've had a couple good ones.
Yeah, a few. Some of them are swings and misses, but I try really, really hard.
I bet you can't win them all.
No, sometimes I think
Just
it goes
like the
right over.
games.
But I win most of them.
He doesn't win a lot.
90% win ratio or something. What are some that stand out to you?
All right, there are. Oh man.
I'll chime in if they're mine. But
I don't even know about appropriate levels here.
Oh, come on.
It's explicit.
Ralph, the only thing is you don't want to make yourself look bad. So maybe don't.
Yeah,
But you could say
all
in
the ones
quotes-
that make me really happy are not the best
You could just frame it like this is what they said, and then put it that way. I
so-
thought it was offensive. But
Based on, let's do it like this. Based on crowd reaction, what's the best trivia name?
So many of them are timely that I don't know how well they translate now. My personal favorite is Trivia Newton-John, just because it's very clever. So I have this theory, and I don't know if it's true, that a lot of people are sitting at a bar, and I go, hey, it's trivia night, and they're like, oh, we gotta listen to this dickhead talk for 2 hours on a microphone.
That's how I first heard about you.
But at least we'll play some trivia, maybe, because we're smarter than everybody else. And they go, okay, well, what is our team name going to be? And I feel like someone pulls out their phone and looks up best trivia team name, because without fail, 80% of games I've hosted, a team is called My Couch Pulls Out, but I don't.
Yeah. That's classic.
Really?
Yeah.
Almost always.
Okay.
Which is a great team name.
I mean, I'm not really up to snuff on the whole trivia scene.
I mean, it's definitely an underground thing.
That one, yeah, you're right. I hear that. I never know if it's the same team or not. I'm sure it never
is
is.
the same team. It's always someone. Without fail, someone will call themselves Team Awesome. They always come in last place. Without fail. There is almost always a Team Ramrod. They are high. Always high, stoned out of their gourds. It's Super Troopers. I get it. Great movie.
Choking on my beer.
What else is really good? What have we had? They're just all. I just get all the offensive ones going, and I don't want to get into that.
Mine.
Other than that, how was the show, Mrs. Lincoln?
That was good. Yeah, I've had
that
some
yours?
spins on that. Yeah.
Oh, that was yours.
I've had
Did
a
you
couple
do the
spins
parade
on-
one too?
Yeah, it's like, how was a parade otherwise, Mrs. Kennedy?
That was I like that one.
And there was also
other people didn't.
Yeah, and there was also the Are You Sure You Want the Balcony, Dr. King? Ooh. Too soon?
That one's a little rough. That one's a little
The
rough.
thing is, my team names aren't even team names. They're just like phrases.
I like how we're okay with shooting the president, but not a civilian. Like,
Right.
no, we could shoot Lincoln or Kennedy. Cool, whatever.
That's racist.
That's right.
Well, yeah.
That's right.
It's sad. That's the thing is, like, he died like 30 years before I was born. You know, he was born the same year as Anne Frank.
That makes sense.
Right? It makes sense when you're like, well, okay.
The more you know.
Perspective.
Reddit.
I think I get shooting a president, but I don't get shooting a black preacher.
There's some very racist white people out there
Oh, there are.
that really don't like the black folk.
That's
Do
a
you,
shame.
I mean,
It's unfortunate.
do you remember the Civil War? Because
I was
that's
there.
basically why
I
that
saw
happened.
flashbacks to the jungle. Wait, that's the wrong war.
That's a different thing entirely. Some other. I mean, I'm always trying to think back to the team names. Like our always go to was a random Cards Against Humanity card, and it just stuck, which was Falcon with a cap on its head, which for the longest time Doug thought was like another word for a penis.
I didn't know what was going on.
I mean, it's not that hard to get there.
but if you saw my face the minute that I pulled that card and I went,
And that one stuck.
everybody in the room didn't know why I was so happy about that card, but I knew.
When it comes up when we still play, it's always the winner.
I get a chuckle.
Are you a big avid Cards Against Humanity fan?
My favorite card, I believe, is in Apples to Apples, which is Altar Boys. Altar Boys trumps all.
I think that is an apples to apples, which is the kindergarten version of the
Yeah.
fucking game.
But until you get
It also
Altar
has
Boys,
the JFK assassination in there,
Yeah.
which is always my go-to.
I have a few favorite cards. Redundant.
Yeah, cards.
Um,
Cards is
my most favorite is arguably the least popular in the deck, which is the Virginia Tech Massacre, which is awful, but
that's a card.
Oh yeah,
I've never seen.
And the depths of its awfulness is why I like it.
I think that there's different cards that
terrible.
start in games. I feel like there's been different runs of the game, and they
yeah.
change a couple of them here.
There are
and there.
expansion packs
Well,
and
I
all
have
sorts of fun things.
I have every expansion pack, including the bigger blacker box.
the bigger blacker
yeah, with
box.
the hidden card in it.
With the hidden
Yeah.
card.
So my favorite card is like the most like it's like the least offensive of all of them. Like people always don't get why I love it so much because I love it because it's so absurd. Which is jamming an entire peanut butter and jelly sandwich into the VCR. I just love that card,
a good card.
so much.
Is it because it brings back memories?
Probably. I think you know what. Refresh memory forward. I'm pretty damn sure I did that.
Yeah, probably.
Did you also poop back and forth forever?
Maybe I might have done that a couple times. There's some you have to play with us because there's some cards I'm not going to say on this because they're just like my friends are like you wrote that.
Yeah.
Oh, you made your own?
Oh, we have. There's a
Yes.
couple of write-ins that it's just like, dude.
Yeah, like that's-
you need some help.
Dog fart's always good. I like the dog fart.
There's a
right.
dog fart.
No, you
card?
have to write it in.
Oh,
but
okay.
It's a good one.
Okay.
I think Kanye West was a card that's appropriate for every situation.
I wrote a card that just says John Cena socks.
Oh,
Just
see, I've heard he's a really nice guy though.
he's done all the Make a Wish things. I don't know. It's just a card about his socks. There's no hidden-
socks.
socks.
I heard a you there, not.
Well,
sucks.
that's the chant. People chant John Cena sucks at him during his another story. But mine just says it's kind of a play on that. Just John Cena socks, and they're just like okay, and I just laugh and laugh. But yeah, he's done doesn't he have the record for the most Make a Wish Foundation. Like
That's a good record to have.
Yeah, the
there are a
dude's a
few
good
out there
dude.
like Grammy, Emmy, Tony. What's the other one?
Those
Oscar.
people's names.
No, they're the awards.
Oh.
Like when you get all of them, you're like, you're the best.
But he's like,
But Make-A-Wish
king
is
of,
like,
of making cancer kids happy.
well, yeah. And
Kids
who
with
else
ass
do you want
cancer
to
is
make
a strong
happy?
card.
That's a good card. What else?
It is.
There are trump cards like the AIDS. AIDS always wins no matter what.
I like the one that just says ladle and then has a picture of a ladle next to
I
it.
have not seen this.
You haven't?
Wait, there are pictures.
No, just this one. It just has a little like one color drawing of a ladle.
Like an emoji.
Yeah, it's like
Thinking
an
of all the
emoji
cards
ladle,
that works with right now.
right? You know, it's just
perfect.
I've never ended ladles.
Anything with testicles, like easy.
Oh, fair.
W, win.
Can we just have an episode where we just play Cards Against Humanity
No,
for
we
like an
can't.
hour?
It'd be like
no one will
but It
watch.
should be shot like
I'd watch
poker.
it.
It needs to be.
Oh,
like,
yeah, from the
like,
top?
with hole cards and from the top.
Oh, dude, a very special Growler Garage
That
Cards
would be
Against
way
Humanity.
too- and like deadpan serious with announcers.
Oh, dude,
It would be
Get the
way
card.
fun.
Get the card cam. That's like
Yeah.
right there.
little whole card.
this is going to be a lot of editing for you, producer Matt.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough
We're
one.
going to need at least 7 GoPros.
Are we HBO subscribers?
Probably.
I
Did we
am,
watch
yeah.
7 Days in Hell?
No.
Okay. If they can produce that, then we can produce this.
Tell us why. What does that mean?
It's Andy Samberg and Jon Snow
I'm out.
playing tennis against each other for 7 days.
Jon
back in.
Snow, like
Jon Snow,
Jon
the
Snow.
actor who portrays
Okay.
Isn't that
the Jon Snow. Spoiler alert!
Isn't that Napoleon Dynamite, Jon Snow?
No.
Oh.
No.
Jon Snow in
Who am I
Game,
thinking
Game
of?
of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Not
Oh,
an
I watched
HBO
that.
subscriber. He no longer is in this conversation.
Who played Napoleon Dynamite?
That's John Heder.
See, pretty close.
Jon
He's
Snow.
Mormon.
Jon Snow is a character on Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It's not. Is it the girl with the like white hair?
Yes.
Is it? Because she's
Yeah.
pretty damn hot.
And she takes her clothes off a lot. And her name is Jon Snow.
What? But how come I'm not? I didn't know that.
We're just making fun of you
Well, does she take her clothes off or not?
all the time.
Oh, she does. Yes.
But then she stopped and it's not as much fun.
Stop playing with my emotions.
No, it's true. I'm just preparing you for the inevitability. Wait till I tell you who all dies.
Oh, I don't give a shit.
It's everyone.
Everyone dies.
They all die.
Everyone dies. No one is safe.
Not Dinklage.
Isn't he in that crappy new Adam Sandler?
Yes,
movie?
he is. I
That's
was like,
redundant.
my jaw hit the floor when I saw that preview. Like, why is
But
he
he's also
in
an
that?
elf and he's an angry dwarf and he's the best. He's also the voice of the new Chrysler commercials. Back to cars. You're
Are you
welcome.
serious? Is he really?
I'm pretty sure. I
That's
saw him
a-
on a plane, so
That's
the
a
audio was
pretty
great.
solid little bring back there.
Yeah.
Henry Ford did support Hitler, though.
Even though Hitler had his picture on his desk.
Oh,
True.
you know,
True story.
yeah, he helped funded the Volkswagen.
Oh, that makes sense.
Well, I'm also a big Porsche fan, so what can I say?
But you're not an anti-Semite, as far
No,
as
I love the
know.
Jews.
Who doesn't?
I mean, they.
I mean, a
They
lot
make
of
a
people
good,
don't, but I don't know why.
Ooh.
Yay, Chromecast.
I thought that it was the Jews.
Luckily,
they
it's
heard.
not while we were using it.
They run it.
Just so everybody watching knows, we've switched to Roku for the next episode. Not the next one, the next one. We'll have a Roku.
Oh, it's pretty.
Oh, it is.
Oh,
Let's just
yay,
leave it like that.
mountains.
There we go.
All right.
You should just
Soothing
set
backgrounds.
the dang.
I don't know how. I can't figure it out. We'll figure it out for the next one.
Okay.
For the next one, it'll be different. God, we've been doing this a while now. You want to go get drunk and like eat another burrito?
I haven't had a burrito. So
Oh, dude, let's go get drunk and eat a burrito.
Yet another burrito would
All
be.
right, maybe I'll do a burn out in the garage
agreeable.
later.
Oh, I don't know. There are children.
Can we wait till
present.
I tear down all the gear, so we don't get rubber all over it?
No, we need to keep it running
That's gonna smell.
because I want the
good.
sounds.
The drunk sounds.
Well, maybe.
That's just a lot of retching out of me.
Okay,
I may know a lot about beer, but I'm super lightweight.
this is the part where I try to sell people stuff.
Oh, so when are we gonna sell them?
So what I'm going to try to sell them is merchandise because we just redid our merchandise like earlier today.
Hooray!
So by the time the first episode comes out, when I'm talking about how bad the merchandise is, it'll already have been fixed. So
Come on, kids, get your merchandise here. Garage, Growler Garage.
so we got beer pint glasses, which is super cool.
Oh, I
Did you
didn't
see
get
that?
one of
Yeah, I only
those.
have one. I'm cheap.
You should give them to the guest. Hosting.
one.
We
tact,
should get one more.
We're gonna get one more. We're gonna get one
minimum.
We should.
more. I'm
Or at least get you like
Minimum.
get you like the beer stein because that thing's pretty awesome.
That's
Yeah, you
pretty
should.
true.
You should have that.
We have
But
a beer
The guest
sta-
should take home a pint.
That's like $15 every time. For
They're
yours
like
for the low,
$20
low
a
price-
piece on the website.
Yours for the low price of $19.99.
There we go.
Not an exact.
it's
Profit
just-
margin, kids.
It's just like Netflix, but with a beer glass.
Um,
So we also have T-shirts, which are cool.
but on the topic of Netflix, I feel like this is a male audience.
Yeah.
Now I'm not gonna remember what it's called. Blue is the warmest color. Do yourself a favor. No more words will be spoken. You can watch it with the wife. Good luck.
Oh,
Can I watch it with my mother?
No.
can I
Okay.
watch it with a hat?
Yes.
Can I pet my cat?
You'll be distracted.
All right. So we also have T-shirts. We've got license plate frames. We've got
Lots of
long sleeve
automotive
shirts.
accessories. We got magnets, bumper stickers, keychains.
This is all in my gift bag for being a guest.
Yeah,
exactly.
So other
Yeah.
guests.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on
This is
down.
the spot.
We've got it's the fact of it is, and I'll be serious for a second, is it's high quality stuff. Like we didn't cheap out on it. It's stuff that supports us. We want it to be stuff you want to wear. The Growler Garage logo is something that Matt worked super hard on. We think it's super cool. I shot it down a couple times.
It was up there.
It was.
Well, now it's a space station, which maybe is made out of Legos,
I heard it was made out of Legos.
Looks like it is.
isn't it? Is that the actual space station?
It's gone now. Up.
Getting the logo back so you guys can all see it. But we're also,
Yeah, there it is.
unlike a lot of shows,
That's good.
We're going to create actual designs. Like we have one up there now that just is in that style of like the band. Have you seen those where it's like the band T-shirts? Where it'll have like the band names.
That looks good.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's his work.
Oh, there are little sockets on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, see?
I'm glad you noticed that little detail.
That's
right.
Thank you.
So have you ever seen those like band T-shirts where they have them for like One Direction or whatever, and it's just like their first name
have
and then
all of
like
them.
and then first name and it's like ampersand. It'll be like, or they have like the Beatles. It's like
Yes,
Ringo
yes.
and George, and we have one of those where it just says burnouts and burnouts and burnouts and burnouts and burnouts. I'll get you one of those. Those are available on a lot of different things, including potentially women's thongs. If you want that. So if you want to get your special lady in your life something.
I know the logo is available in women's thongs.
Yeah, I'm debating on whether I'm going to leave it there or not.
Yeah.
It's a little...
I mean, that should be the last thing I see before going to bed.
That should be the first thing you see when you wake up.
Growler Garage, thong, drop, lights.
Credits roll.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's the...
Cue 70s porn music.
If you like what we're doing here, go to Growler Garage and our website.
GrowlerGarage.net.
.net. I keep doing that. I'm sorry.
You never finish the URL.
Can't finish a show till you're out of beer.
And I think there's like some more. Oh, no, I eat fish. Okay. GrowlerGarage.net. You can, that's the best way to support us right now is obviously watch us on YouTube. You can buy the merchandise. The merchandise, like I said, I don't want it to be you doing us a favor. I want you to like it. Just check it out. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Send me a $5 in the mail.
Anyway.
Just send me $5.
Put it on your Christmas list. Make a family member buy it.
Yeah, exactly. Like we'll figure out a way to put it on Amazon. So it can be your Amazon wish list. Send it all to your buddies. Get the zip up. Get the Stein. Get the what is that? A pint glass.
Pint glass, yes.
The
We didn't even talk about beer glassware.
like I
So many more beer conversations to have.
we gotta have you. We'll have you back.
Yeah, we'll have them back.
We have no illusions of us not being sellouts. We're sellouts from the beginning.
Absolutely, yeah. We're totally in this for the money.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so.
okay. I know people with monies.
Oh,
Some monies.
this could save us some effort then.
Oh, good.
So we figured what's
But
the
you
most
should still buy the merch because they don't have that much money.
right, and we'll just sell them all the merch. But this is here's how this started. Right, it's like what's the easiest way that we can make a buck and still have a little bit of fun? Let's do a fucking podcast.
Oh, I was okay.
We
Sexual favors.
Oh, that's
Well,
another
there's always
fan
that, too. I mean, that's like the back burner.
Oh yeah.
In
Right.
case this doesn't work out, then that's next.
There's always Long Beach.
This is deteriorating really quickly. You want to entertain the people for a moment?
Is there? A,
So yeah, okay. So you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/
soon to be Twitter.
Growler Garage.
Soon, yeah, Growler Garage podcast.
Is there a fun hashtag?
Oh yeah.
Hashtag Growler Garage?
Oh no, yeah, there is. Hashtag beers and gears.
Beers and gears.
There it is.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, see? I just remembered that right now. Hashtag
like
beers and gears.
You can get the show on iTunes, YouTube, and Stitcher. That's where we are available right now.
Yep. And yeah, if you go to Facebook, you can just search Growler Garage podcast. You'll see this lovely Dodge Dart.
Used to be my Dodge Dart.
There's the cover photo there from MW Photography, courtesy. So yeah, that's how you find us there. Stay in touch. We always do trivia questions on there. Get the opportunity to get some people on here if you want to be a guest on the show. But don't waste your time unless you're interesting.
They got
God,
me,
that was a smug look.
Go to growlergarage.net. You can find all the info there to become a guest. Doug, like I said, let's go drink a beer and have a burrito.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Thank you for being on the show.
My pleasure.
Episode 2, Growler Garage. That's our guest, Doug.
I'm Dusty.
See what
I'm
I did
old.
there?
It's cool.
Our Dust Skeg. That's our guest, Doug. Pop quiz trivia. Go check it out if you're anywhere in the Orange County area. Go to their website. Go check it out.
Don't
Also
forget your beer paper LAs.
Beer Paper LA.
Beerpaperla.com @beerpaperla. All of your Los Angeles and Orange County beer news. Find it, get it, drink local. Hashtag drink local.
That's right. And I just want to thank
Very
everybody
cool.
again for listening in. Episode 2 of Growler Garage. Thank you so much for listening on YouTube, on iTunes, on Stitcher. Love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to keep having fun like this every week. So please keep checking back. Hit that subscribe button, and that way you won't miss anything.
Oh, we're done now?
Yes, we're done.
Oh.